we were in the game. I mean, for the most part, the game was nick and tuck until once again, the inconsistency of where as the game goes on, as we get into the third, the second half, and the fourth quarter and what have you, then all of a sudden the offense becomes stagnated. Crucial plays that need to be made. There is a struggle. Everybody, thank you for being here. This is Prime Sports Media.
Tell the truth.
It's a late night. I thought about doing this Monday, Sunday, but we're going to get into it right now. I'm extremely frustrated, as I know many of you out there watching this football team. Coach Prime is extremely frustrated. I'm going to play some recording or a video clip from Coach Prime's press conference. I'm going to give you a little small clip of Salter tonight. I got to be honest. Salters played well a week ago when he redeemed himself from the poor performance before. But the problem is that in this game, there was just too many mistakes that were made by the quarterback, in this case, Salter. There were too many mistakes down the stretch of this game, period. And then there were players that I think that they got away from. If you notice in the beginning of the game, when CU was gaining a lot of momentum to getting their first touchdown in the game, to going up 14-0, when Amarion Miller, and I told you I thought the Miller brothers would be a dominant force if they just give them the damn ball. So you had Amarion Miller, who gets a touchdown, a 6-yard throw by Salter, which would open up the game with their first touchdown. Touchdown by Amarion Miller in the second quarter with 13 minutes and 33 seconds in the game as they start to break it open. Then you had Salter, who every game he plays in, he does average at least one touchdown per game, if not more. I mean, I'm not going to deny that he's got some feet, some wheels on him when he's running the ball, but the problem is not running the ball, everybody. The problem with Salter, as I've been saying, is that he does not have an accurate arm. His accuracy is questionable. And you saw that lack of accuracy in this game tonight. He threw 3 picks. I think he had 3 turnovers just himself alone. And the truth of the matter is, you can't win football games like that, whether it be high school, whether it be the pros. You just can't win football games like that. Once again, he went 18 for 29, 2 TDs. One of them was for a touchdown. One of them was for Amarion Miller. Salters ran a touchdown in with 6 minutes and 32 seconds in the second quarter, a 10-yard TD. I appreciated it. But what I did not appreciate is the fact that, once again, you can't win football games when you turn the ball over. He had 3 interceptions thrown. That was based on, one, a lack of accuracy with his throws, and he was throwing into areas where there were 2 or 3 defenders in the area, and it made you scratch your head and say, what was Salter looking at? He threw for 217 yards. The quarterback, Hoover, he looked good for TCU. This young man threw for 275 yards, went 23 for 33 with 4 TDs. If you got a quarterback that puts up 4 TDs on you and your quarterback turns the ball over 3 times, you're not going to win a damn football game when you turn the ball over like that. This was one of those games that I'm sure Salter would like to have back, that he would like to say, I want a do-over. This was a damn do-over for the whole team because despite the turnovers, they could have still won this game if it was not for inconsistencies down the stretch of this game. Now, let me get back to a point that I was trying to make before I got a little thrown off here, or before I threw myself off. In the early going of the game, they begin to go to this young man right here. I've been talking about this young man, Draylon Miller. I did a video about him, my pregame video, when I talked about when he gets the ball in his hands, momentum starts to move. Successful things were happening in this game when you saw Draylon Miller in the mix early on, but they got away from Draylon Miller. They were running him out of the backfield along with Michael Welsh, who had moments where he made some pretty good moves running the ball. But Draylon Miller, in my opinion, was the man who began to set the tempo that got them down the field in the first place, that led to Omarion Miller getting his touchdown, to Salter getting his touchdown and going up on his team 14-0. What really hurt them in this game, and not only do I think they made a mistake not getting this young man right here more in the mix, because good things happens when you get him in the mix, and they got away from getting him in the mix. Now, they did run the ball, which I've been calling for God knows how long I've been calling for, which was a good thing. So their running game was moving, everybody. So we can't hate on, I can't punch down the team or hate on them, because they were running the ball. They were doing what I had said a long time ago. If you run the ball, you can control the tempo. And I have a theory here. Early in the game, when they were having success, it was because they were running the ball, they were controlling the time of possession, and what's most importantly, they kept Hoover, they kept TCU on the sideline and kept their defense on the field. When you run an offense like that, where you're running the ball efficiently, you're grinding the defense, you're keeping them on the field longer, and therefore they get tired out. And then when you get deep into the game, the team that's defense that's been on that field longer, that's tired, that's getting tired, you can grind on them. That's what's been happening to CU, because for the last few games, CU has had a problem where they go 3 and out, and the more they go 3 and out, the more the defense is on the field, the more the other team is grinding on them and tires them out. I thought that early on when they were getting some run success, I felt like, man, if they keep doing this, they're going to wear TCU out. They're going to tire out that defense the more they keep them on the field and keep their offense off the field. And I felt like if they would have stuck with Draylon Miller, getting him in the mix a little bit more, because certainly Omarion Miller came to play. Omarion Miller was pumped up. And then you only throw one pass to this young man right here, Sincere Brown. He gets one catch, if I'm not mistaken, for only 17 yards for the whole game. That's a problem, everybody. I'm going to call it just as I see it. That is a problem for so many reasons. Right here, here's the chart. That's defense. Let's get receivers up here. So Omarion Miller had 89 yards, 2 TDs. So he was really the man in this game. They got him involved. Omarion Miller, which I liked. I would have liked to see Draylon Miller in the mix as well, just a little bit more to make it balanced between him and Omarion Miller. But Draylon Miller only had one catch for 6 yards. And then early on in the game, Draylon Miller had 7 carries for 14 yards. They somehow got away from Draylon Miller, which I thought was a problem, because for some reason, if they keep him in the mix between playing him in the slot as a receiver, running him out of the backfield a few times a game along with the other guys, I think that would have added some more flavor to this game in terms of them maybe winning the game. Now, Dallin Hayden came back. Congratulations to that, brother. And they put him in the mix, and I think he did a good job considering he's coming off of, injury and everything like that. And Coach Prime said he believes in going slow with his players. So he had 9 carries for 61 yards, 25 yards was his longest run. Michael Welsh went 12 carries for 40 yards, with 15 being his longest. And once again, I really think that if you get somebody more carries, good things can happen. I think Draylon Miller, once again, Coach Prime said, okay, we understand that he's a weapon. We got to use him. But in this game, I'm sorry. I don't think that he was utilized as much as he should have been as he was early on in the game, which I felt was very effective. You let me know in the comment section of this video if you think I'm telling truth here, that early on in the game, when they were giving Draylon Miller opportunity, he was a X factor. He was a good factor. But then as the game went on, and of course they had to give the ball, got other guys reps and opportunities, very understandable. I think they got away from something that could have been effective had they kept it consistency to it throughout the game, and they got away from the consistency. And then you had Salters trying to do too much. He can run the ball. When he runs, he can do a lot of damage. But sometimes I feel like he's not as confident or concise with throwing the ball given certain situations. There are certain situations where he runs and throws and he makes good throws. Then there are situations where he throws the ball and I have very little confidence, or I get a little scared that it's either going to be intercepted or it's going to be, batted down and it's going to drop into somebody's hand. And you saw that tonight several times when he would throw the ball and the ball would get batted. First, for example, in the second quarter when they were up 14-0. I think it was 14-14. TCU came back and scored a touchdown to get back in the game, and that really bothered me because I'm like, wow, they are letting this team come back in the game. TCU is getting all the momentum. We're slowing down. It's like the minute we get a lead, I don't know if it's because guys are getting confident or maybe they're overconfident. I don't know what it is, but too often CU allows teams to creep right back into the game because as their offense becomes stagnant. And I just don't understand what is going on that's causing this consistent problem that they have when they get a lead. You saw just like me that before they went into halftime, it was tied 14-14, and they had an opportunity to punch the ball into the end zone and go up 21-14 against TCU, which would have been a great momentum boost for the team, and it could have also hurt the confidence of TCU considering they just came back and scored 2 touchdowns. And then think what it would have done to inflate their confidence if CU would have scored that touchdown. But the minute that CU, in this case, Salters threw the ball to Amarion Miller, which I didn't think was really a well-thrown ball, and somehow it got ricocheted into the air, went back into the hands of TCU. Once again, they got all sorts of confidence out of that situation. Then there was a breakdown in special teams where the ball bounced off of Matthews' back or one of the players' back, and then whenever you have a kickoff like this and the ball hits a player and hits the ground, it's a live ball. And Coach Prime said, hey, these are young players we have on the team in special teams, and sometimes they're going to make those what we call freshman mistakes. But these are mistakes that cost them this football game, and these are mistakes that I don't understand how we can't clean this you-know-what up.
Tell the truth.
It's very concerning. Now, we already had enough going against us. ESPN had TCU beating CU 79.6% and CU winning this game 20.4%. I'm going to tell you, everybody, early on in this game, CU was playing with this team. CU proved that they could go back and forth with this team, but then it all, as I said before, came crumbling down when the moment gets big. And Coach Prime said just a week ago, he's not sure if some players on this team are able to play up to the moment. And another thing that Coach Prime said today is that he gave a lot of praise to the defense. The defense was very upset about the loss because there were, even though they allowed this team to come back into the game, there were moments when the defense did a great job at sort of keeping TCU's running game in check. I think the defense in this game played a hell of a lot better than they played last week against BYU. But the problem is that when your offense is turning the ball over, it's putting more pressure on the defense. And as I said before, if the defense is on the field longer, they're getting tired out as the opponent begins to try to grind on them. We got to give some respect to the offensive line of this team. The offensive line did its job tonight to open up holes for the running game. And the offensive line did its job to keep Salters from not being sacked all over the place. The turnovers came from Salter sometimes maybe doing too much, not throwing the ball accurately, not making the best mental decisions, and that's going to hurt your football team. Once again, I want to believe in the young man. He won his job back from Stobbs, proving that he could play in that game, the game after they lost with Stobbs. But his legs have been his biggest ability of success. His legs. His passing has been a level of inconsistency as it related to this game tonight. And I feel that how can this be fixed? I've been saying, folks, I've been one of the people on these YouTube streets that have jumped out the window. I think I've said it probably for a lot of people that I told you, everybody immediately, that I thought that his Achilles heel, that Salter's Achilles heel, even though he had played well in previous games to win his position back, or a previous game, that one of his areas of weakness is the accuracy, and that's something that he should be working on day and night. And I think that lack of accuracy, because they even said it on the telecast, what I'm saying, that lack of accuracy and decision-making was not there tonight in a very positive way that would help the football team and actually hurt the football team. And I hate to admit this, but it's just the truth. We have to be honest about what's happening to the football team. Let me go ahead and let you hear what Salter had to say about he took a positive. I got to give the young man credit. He took a positive position about what happened tonight, and that the team has to stick together through the adversity. But I don't know, everybody, if CU, I hate to say this, I feel like the quarterback position still is a question mark on this team. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. But let me go ahead and play a little bit of what he had to say. Check this out.
College, we're with each other every day. We just got to stay locked in, continue to trust each other, continue to hold each other accountable. And that's that. It starts at practice, like I said. It starts with us getting up at 6 in the morning, going to meetings, and just continue, just.
It's true that it starts at practice, but what's happening in these games is that Coach Prime has already said it, that the practices have been good, that guys are studying, they're getting in their reps. But what's happening to this football team is that there's a mental breakdown. These guys are making mental mistakes. That's the issue here. mental mistakes are being made when they get a lead. The momentum shifts. They lose the momentum of the game. They lose. The confidence starts to inflate itself as the opposition is coming back into the game. And it appears like sometimes they're not able to overcome these types of adversity that comes along in football, where a team gets up on you and now you've got to make a mess. You got to send a message back to that team that they're going to be in a damn ball game. And I just don't know. I just don't know, everybody. I'm not throwing in the towel by any means here, because I believe in the process. This is a game that they dearly needed to win to get back on the national scene, because if I'm not mistaken, they got to go against Iowa State. That's a ranked team. This would have been a great tune-up game to get ready at home against Iowa State. So now the team is in a desperate situation now where they've got to win a game. They are 0-2 in the Big 12 right now. They lost to Houston. They lost to, obviously, no, they're 3-0 in the Big 12. They lost to Houston. They lost to BYU. And now they've lost to TCU. That's 3 conference teams. That's not a good thing. And the teams, I'm going to be an honest broker here. The teams that they beat were the FBS teams such as Delaware, Wyoming. Let's be honest, everybody. Those 2 teams that I just mentioned are not world beaters. They were never opponents that made you say, I'm concerned about whether they could win this game. These were opponents that they should have won. They should have beaten. They could beat. They can. They did. But now, as they're playing in the tough part of the schedule where they're going to go against Iowa State next week, something's got to give here with what, the defense, to their credit, they did what they could. But the offense in this case, in my opinion, is the area that was really hurting them because of the turnovers, which does what again? I'm going to say this point again. The turnovers allowed TCU's offense to get back on the field while putting CU's defense on the field, putting their offense off the field, defense on the field, and then you can keep them on the field more, you can tire them out. And as the course of the game goes, when you get in the fourth quarter, now you can outdo them because you've got the defense lingering out there so long when the team is turning the ball over and putting the ball back in the opponent's hand. You can't win football games like this. Now let's hear the rest of what he's saying.
Stand together. We got to stay together, and that's one big thing that
yes, you do.
You have to do when you having a season like we're having so far.
You definitely have to stick together. Yes, you do. Now, let me go into some other areas. Here we go right here. Okay, so TCU had 369 yards of total possession of the football. CU had 349 yards. Once again, turnovers. Not just 3 turnovers, but overall, CU had 4 turnovers. You can't win a football game when I know I said 3 turnovers, but now looking at the chart stats, they had 4 turnovers. You can't win a football game like that when you got 4 turnovers. And then when you turn the ball over, a team like TCU is able to capitalize on that. You're just not going to win football games. Okay? Now, time of possession. Believe it or not, CU had more time of possession because CU was able to run the ball better than TCU with 31 minutes and 32 seconds in this football game. An area that I want to talk about is I got to give it up to Preston Hodge. I was concerned about Preston Hodge because it seemed like he was trying to get himself back to his level that he was playing last year. And tonight's game, everybody, he stepped up. He stepped up, everybody. He played a lot better. There was some plays he made. Of course, they called a penalty against him tonight for pass interference and all that kind of nonsense. But I was happy that he stepped up in his game and had his moments. Once again, DJ McKinney has had his moments this season and his moments in his game as well, where he's kind of struggled here and there. We had Walker, who made a good play. The linebacker Walker has, this guy's he's a defensive end / linebacker. He can put he can put his hands in the dirt and play defensive end. He can also drop back into a linebacker's position as well. But he had his moments tonight where he made a play happen. And again, Salters has legs that can wheel like a wheel of a car, and he can eat up some yardage. But the passing is a concern to me, everybody, in terms of how he is making plays when this team needs him to make those plays in the air as well as with his feet. We know what he could do with his feet. It's the air that I'm questioning in this particular game that I think hurt us with those 3 turnovers by him. Now let's hear what Coach Prime has to say about this whole situation. I'm not going to hold you all long tonight. This will be a short podcast to get right to the point here. But something's got to give. Something's got to give. Coach Prime is very frustrated. I'm feeling frustrated because this is a game that they let get away from them. This is a game that they could have won. This is a game that would have gave them great momentum going up against Iowa State next week. This is a game that would have gave them more national recognition had they won this game, especially going up against Iowa State. This was a must-need game and a game that they just let get away from them. They had momentum and control of this game throughout the first half of the game when they were able to run the ball and get control of time possession, but just could not stop turning the ball over. 4 turnovers is going to get you a loss damn near every time in college football. Let's hear Coach Prime. Man, this whole thing is crazy, everybody. Check this out.
The way you go pro, that's the way you become that person that you desire to be, is maximizing those moments. And we're not. Very.
So as you can see, Coach Prime is saying it's about maximizing the moments to win the game, to make things happen. And Coach Prime is saying there that again, let's hear him again.
Very. It's the way you go pro. That's the way you become that person that you desire to be, is maximizing those moments.
I just want to make sure I have it right here. Maximizing the moments. And what we saw in this game is there were times when moments were not maximized like they could have been and should have. Let's continue.
We're not. Very. I'm not pointing at one guy by any means. I'm watching the same game you watching, man. I just have a little more insight because I know what's supposed to happen and what should be happening. Where are flies coming from? Are we that stinking that the flies are flying around like buzzers with helmets on? Jesus. Everything. Running game. I don't know if we threw that much, but the linemen came out without his anger. They really did. I mean, I think
Yeah, they did.
they were very
Let's
physical.
let's keep it real, everybody. The defensive linemen were physical. The offensive line were physical. The defensive line did what they had to do in moments of this game where they were very physical. Because I'm gonna say again, TCU in terms of their running game, they did not run all over us. And even their quarterback didn't even really run all over us, right? But I don't think they necessarily were running their quarterback purposely anyway tonight, because this is a guy that can throw the ball out of the backfield. They kept talking about how he had a quick release, very quick release. And I think for the most part, we were playing with this team before we start making all these damn mistakes and beating ourselves. Because the defensive line, for the most part, when it came to their running backs, we pretty much kept them in check. It wasn't the running game. It wasn't their running game that beat us. It's what we did to ourselves to beat ourselves that caused us to lose this game ultimately.
They did their thing, and I'm proud of them. Like they won it. Like they're highly upset, and I'm proud of that they care that much. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's very disappointing, Peggy.
How many touchdown passes?
Very disappointing, but they got to bounce back.
Like
They got to bounce back.
No. Yeah. I think I got more blood clots. Cat's out the bag, all right? I think I got more blood clots. Man, it don't make sense. I'm hurt.
So what's happening? I'm very concerned about this with Coach Prime. He did mention, as much as we're disappointed about the game and them not winning this game, the one area that I'm certainly
doctor's appointment Monday to see what time it is.
So I want to stop right there. The one area that I'm certainly concerned about is the fact that Coach Prime is still having some effects from his. Remember, unfortunately, he had beat or had cancer and was able to overcome it. But now Coach Prime is saying that he's having more problems. So despite that they lost this game, for me personally, I'm concerned about his health. And I got to be honest, everybody, when you're coaching a sport as a coach can be very stressful. And if you got medical conditions or medical situations like Coach Prime has, it can hurt you if you're stressing over what I'm sure he's stressing over, which is the fact that they are losing games that they should be winning. And he's telling us every week how frustrated that he has been so far in the games that they have lost specifically. And that Coach Prime is saying to us that, hey, they're having good practices. They're having good study. And so that has to weigh on Coach Prime. It has to be weighing on him. But if it's weighing on him and he does already have some pre-existing conditions medically, then we have to, as people that are fans of Coach Prime and we want what's best for CU, the program, we have to also recognize that this probably is taking a toll to a certain degree on Coach Prime. I'm only speculating in this sense because he just said that he's still having some medical issues. Let's hear this again, shall we?
Yeah. I think I got more blood clots.
More blood clots.
All right. I think I got more blood clots, man. It don't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy. I got the doctor's appointment Monday to see what time it is. So that's.
You see that? That concerns me on so many levels. On so many levels.
That's what's going on. I'm not getting blood to my leg. That's why my leg is throbbing. Sorry to get that out, but thank you for noticing. I'm not saying the lack thereof. We got to make the plays, man. Like if they're scoring, that means we're not making those plays. If they're throwing touchdown passes, that means someone's on the other end of that not making those plays. We
Mm-hmm.
have to make those plays if we want to be in the winner's circle.
Right. You got to make those plays. It's facts.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think you build that. I think that comes with the kid. And that's tough. It's tough. You got to have that somewhere inside of you. But that starts on the practice field because if you're having success there, you're going to bring that over into the game, and you're going to be successful there. It's nothing I seen tonight that I hadn't seen before.
Now, Coach Prime is right. What you do in practice does carry over to the game, but he has said several times that they are having good practices because I think people will question and say, well, what are they doing in practice? Coach Prime says that they are working hard in practice. They study. What's happening is that you have there's some breakdown. There are some mental breakdowns in terms of guys either forgetting their assignments. There's some type of breakdown there. Now, I said this in my previous video that we have to also recognize that this is a very young football team. We got a lot of guys on this team that are true freshmen, second-year players that are sophomores. So we do have a young team, a team with a lot of guys that are fresh out of high school as well, who they are going to make mistakes. They are going to go through some growing pains that will serve them well going forward. But then there's veterans on this team that they can't be making these kind of mistakes either that cost them the game. And it's just these, when you make these, when you get turnovers, when you turn the ball over, it really gives the opponent so much of a leg up. So I feel like TCU got gifts from CU that allowed them to win this game, that had those turnovers, those gifts, as I call them, those turnovers. Had they not, I wonder if they had not had 3-4 turnovers in this game, what they had lost this game. I believe they would have not. Let's continue. He's being asked questions.
Say that again. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we have multitude. All the Texas guys spoke to the team last night in the meeting. Some wonderful guys from Texas that are here and playing on this team, and they contributed quite a bit. Just because they're from Texas, don't make you a killer.
All right, everybody. I'm gonna pull out of this one, and wow, Coach Prime. You could tell he's going through some things with his health, which doesn't help him when the team is losing and it's stressing him out. It's, he's going home, he's thinking about that, so that could take its toll on you, and so we got to be very aware and keep tabs on Coach Prime's health. At least what he is willing to let us know about in terms of what's going on, because, he has a right to his privacy, but it concerns me because the season it could be a grind. They got a tough opponent they got to go up against in Iowa State, very ranked team. And this is a tough loss on so many ways because there were some areas where the team played very well in areas of the defense. And then there was areas where there was some letdowns or at least some inconsistencies. And I'm trying to think myself, like you all out there, what could solve these problems? What is it that's missing on this football team? Or what is it that's missing with the players? Or what is it that the players could do better to readjust away from the mental mistakes that cause them to lose these football games that they're clearing? Look. Coach Prime said tonight that he felt that CU was a better team than TCU. And what you saw in the beginning of the game is that they were. But they allowed them to come back in, which allowed TCU's confidence to go up. And that's just the facts, everybody. I'm going to tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
I'm going to tell the truth. Let's look at this right here. I want to look at this right here. So, receiving. So, Amarion Miller went 6 catches for 89 yards. 34 yards was his longest run. Remember, he got 2 TDs. So, Amarion Miller really stepped up in this game. Showed that he is a guy who's very talented, a big receiver. It can make the tough catches when given opportunity. And he had some opportunities tonight, and he made some things happen. Unfortunately, in a losing cause, but it still shows growth and development, because this is a young man a year ago who had an injury, and you didn't know whether we would ever see him play again. We didn't know how serious the injury was, but he has rehabilitated himself back into the fold, starting, doing his damn thing. And I like it. I like it a lot. Now, this is an area that I want to talk about as it relates to the secondary. And I'm not trying to be mean or punch down. I'm just giving a critical football analysis that I'm noticing. There is some problems in the secondary with CU. We saw that Preston Hodge has came back, and he's come back alive, he came back alive in this game. DJ McKinney has had some hit or misses at times, but then there's times when he's, like in this game tonight, there was a time when he made a real tough tackle on somebody. Okay. But there's been some issues around the young man, Victor, number 10. The last few games that I've seen them play, and this is not punching down the young man. I just think he's I'm sure in practice, he's working hard to improve his technique, to improve whatever he may be doing wrong that's getting him beat deep, because he has given up 6 points to the opponent in a few games now where he has been beaten. He was beaten in tonight's game. And so he has had times where he has had a hard time maintaining the ability to stay in rhythm, but at the same time, be consistent in his techniques to keep himself from not being beat deep down the field quite a bit. So there's a few times during this season where we've seen the games where he was literally beaten. And then I'm just trying to wonder, what is his confidence right now going forward? Because he got beat for a touchdown tonight when TCU was coming back in the game, and we unfortunately made it a way for them to come back, get back in the game, and get momentum from us. And some of these things are very stressful to think about. I want to thank everybody in the chat room that's watching the program tonight as I get ready to conclude. But I want to thank you, and I want to say this. Thank you for watching. I also want to say like and comment. Give me your comments about your personal opinions about what you think happened tonight. Is this a game that they got that they let get away? I'm gonna say it again. Was this a game that they clearly let get away? I do not believe, as Coach Prime said, that they were necessarily a better team than CU. I think CU made mistakes that allowed TCU to gain confidence as the game went on, allowed them to continue their elaborate way they played on offense with their calling their elaborate plays, because they were talking about how the offensive coordinator for TCU is one of the best in college football in terms of the way he draws up plays. And I hate to say this, everybody, but I'm going to say it, because I believe in telling the truth. I brought up that statement about their offensive coordinator because I'm sorry, everybody. I think it's time for Pat to be given his walking papers. I truly hope and wish that CU would consider recruiting or getting another offensive coordinator if not during this season, after this season's over. But they got to make a change. We cannot have Pat, in my opinion, as the offensive coordinator going forward. I think that his play calling in certain situations, it lacks imagination. It's very forgetful, and it also plays into the identity. What is the identity of this team? We know that when they had Travis and they had Shador Sanders, we knew what the identity of the team was under those guys. But what is the true identity of this football team going forward as they try to thrive and get better and improve and prepare themselves for Iowa State, which is going to be a hell of a contest? Get your popcorn ready for that one.
Tell the truth.
I want to say that I think that Marshall Faulk, I said Marshall, excuse me. Marshall, I'm just tired, everybody. Marshall Faulk, I think he's doing a good job as running back coach. They're running the ball a lot better this year than they have the last few years that Coach Prime has been. I think they got a little bit better talent in that running game now, but to bring this man over, a Hall of Fame player in the NFL, a man who has thrown his head into coaching, I think he's doing a good job, because we got to be honest, the running game in terms of the traditional running back game has been an improvement. What has gone down a little bit is the passing accuracy. That quarterback's position, that has to be an area that we have to be honest about. But I want you to leave comments in the comment section. This young man, I think he got a pass or two or so. I think he got one pass in the game. Let me look him up right here. Here we go. Hakeem Williams had 2 catches for 22 yards, 12 yards being the longest. Sincere Brown, 1 catch for 17 yards. I'm telling you, you've got to get the ball in the hands of your weapons a lot more than this. You got to spread it around. This is the thing we got to understand. When you have a football team keying on your guy, like TCU came into this game knowing what guys were game breakers for CU. So when you got a team that knows what your style is, you got to mix it up. You can't just be one-dimensional. And so that's why the running game tonight was a welcome, needed, necessary evil for the team. And I thought one of the areas that I thought would have been great was to get the ball down the field. I don't think that they got the ball down the field enough as necessary to win this game tonight. And I don't know, everybody. I'm just Michael Welsh, bless this young man. He's doing his thing, you know. We want them to keep their heads up, keep their confidence going, because these are temporary setbacks that can be improved for you to be the best that you can be the next man up, the next game up. So everybody, let me just say thank you tonight for watching the podcast.
Tell the truth.
I know it's late. Coach Prime, let's give him a blessing and put him in our prayers when it comes to his health. He's going to get himself checked out on Monday. He's having some issues still, and that concerns me. The team is having issues as well. And you learn more about players in a football team when they are going through adversity than you do when everything's going well for that football team, that coach and that quarterback. You learn more about who these players are based on how they bounce back, prepare themselves to play at Folsom Field against Iowa State, a ranked team. If they could beat that team and beat them very effectively, you will hear people talking about CU and how maybe they could turn it around. We'll see. losing 3 games already in the Big 12. Ooh, it's not good. But we'll see what's going to happen, everybody. It's late. I'm tired. My eyes are getting a little tired, but I appreciate you all being here. Angel Eyes saying salute to you, Prime Sport. Hey, salute to you, good sister. I thank you for coming over, joining the channel. Another thing that I'm noticing, and I want to shout out Big Dog Chico and Dave Talk Buff and everybody out there that's doing CU content. What I'm noticing, this is what I'm going to say, it's going to be very controversial. I'm noticing that a lot of the Colorado videos, content, whether it be content creators doing content, I'm noticing that the views have gone down. I have a theory about this. I think the reason why the views have gone down is because of the star power. When we had Shador and Travis, there was a certain star power, meaning what? Shador already had a built-in audience of people who followed him on social media. Travis Hunter already had a built-in group of people who followed him. Same thing with Shallow Sanders. Same thing with Deion. So when we had those guys playing at CU, it brought a certain level of star power because when you produced a video about the games that they played in, people were more into wanting to watch those videos that we produced because these guys already had a built-in audience on top of the fact that Coach Prime has a built-in audience. But I think because the team has been struggling so far this season, there is no Shador Sanders there. There is no Travis Hunter there. There's no, at the moment, that star, you know, that guy who's up for the Heisman Trophy. There's no, the hype of all of that is not there, which when we produce these videos caused a lot of people to watch the videos. You see, and let me tell you a secret about YouTube, everybody. The majority of the views that you get on YouTube that are higher come from casual YouTube watchers, not your subscribers. So we're getting most of our views, to be, believe it or not, from people who A, are not even subscribed to the channel, and B, people who are just following trends. They're following a trend. They're looking at YouTube. They don't have a YouTube account. They're just saying, hey, I like Shador. I like Travis. Let me see what's going on with the team. And then they do the search engine thing, and then pow, our videos come up. So what I'm noticing is that the people that are watching these videos and watching them consistently as they did when we had the star power of Travis Hunter or Shador Sanders, those are the people, and I must give you kudos, those are the people who are actually football fans that really are following the team to the letter of the law of it. So they're going to still watch the videos that we produce as it relates to CU. But there's been a dip. I've been observing. I've been looking at people's views because I'm saying, hey, what's going on with my views here? And because I'm putting out content. But I just think that I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the team is not on top, and you don't have those star players that you had the last couple of years with Shador and Travis. And so what happens is it separates. So what's happening is that the people who really are watching the content, who really are into what's going on, you're basically they're separating themselves from the people who are just fair weather. Because people that are fair weather, they're only going to do what? Support CU, watch CU, and even support videos when the team is a winner. And everybody in America likes a winner, and that's just the way it is. I just wanted to say that. That's my commentary for tonight because I noticed that that's what it is. And I think all of us, we know that. But for those of you who watch the videos, who still watch this channel and other channels, and you support all of us, I appreciate you that you have not been what we call just a one-time viewer or two-time viewer or you're only viewing based on whether Shador or Travis is still there. Because the young players on this team are destined to be stars as well. everybody, thank you. Everybody.
Tell the truth.
I hope what I said made some sense. Peggy Rosser says, I agree with you. Thank you. Bible says basic instructions before leaving Earth, Shador, Shallow, and Travis had that celebrity factor going for them. Right. Thank you. So because they had the celebrity factor going for them, when people like myself, Big Dog Chico, all these guys, when we're making these videos, views were coming in like wildflower. For example, I could drop a pre-produced video or even do a live stream, and then the views are coming in like pop, 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 like popcorn popping in a pot. That's because you're right. They had celebrity status, and people were watching the videos. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. People were watching those videos because they were not only interested in football, but they were interested in those guys just from their personality. And so I got to be honest. So Salters is not, Salters has been struggling through games here and there. He's had his moments when he runs the ball and plays well. But what happens is that I recognize that, well, Salters is not Shador. He doesn't have that celebrity status. But he's a young man that's playing as hard as he can, although he made some mistakes, and that can happen. But I understand how the game works. And I also understand that I want to thank you, those of you out there who do watch the videos, who do support the channel, as you do other channels. We really thank you again. I must give you more respect with a clap. Everybody, Miss MZ, Kim, Bling, and Bart, here. Alicia, thank you for being in the chat room. Angel Eyes. I'm gonna get ready to get on out of here. There's nothing else more that I can say tonight that I have not said already. I'm gonna say again before I get out of here. This man right here, whether you agree or disagree with me, this man you're looking at right here, I think still remains the missing ingredients. When they got him involved more, they won that game against Wyoming. They have to, in the beginning of this game, they got a lot of momentum and eventually scored a touchdown because Traylon Miller, they got him involved. You cannot afford to go away from him. You've got to get him involved. Even when you're trying to get other players involved, you can't shortchange Traylon Miller and only give him the ball a few times. And that's it. You can't. And so I hope everybody watching this channel understands what I'm saying, where I'm coming from. Once again, subscribe to the channel. Tell somebody that you love them. Cuddle someone that you love. Your husband, your wife. Tell someone you love them, because health could be here today and gone tomorrow. As you know, Coach Prime is dealing with some health problems here. Again.
Yes, sir. If they're throwing touchdown passes, that means someone's on the multitude. All the Texas. Yes, sir. Yeah. Some guys, the Daily Thomas is in there. No. Yeah. I think I got more blood clots.
There we go,
Inside
everybody.
the bag, all right, I think I got more blood clots. Man, it don't make sense. I'm hurting like crazy. I got the doctor's appointment Monday to see what time it is. So that's what's going on. I'm not getting blood to my leg. That's why my leg is throbbing. Sorry to get that out.
As you can see, your health is your wealth. Your health is very important. I wanted to emphasize this because I'm very concerned about Coach Prime. When you have these kind of issues, I know that he got his toes amputated on one. I hope it doesn't lead to them having to tell Coach Prime, we got to amputate your leg altogether. I hope it doesn't lead to that. But I'm keeping it real tonight that I'm very concerned about the man's health. You know, football is one thing. I love watching the games. I love seeing, well-off media, what they do on well-off media. Shout out to Deion Sanders Jr., Bucky, shout out to him. I like what he does on well-off media. He gives us a lot of insight into what's going on with the football team. But at the end of the day, I can sit up here and talk about, what they didn't do right, wrong, whatever, and different, right, wrong, and indifferent. I can talk about that all day long. Excuse me. I'm just tired, everybody. Been a long day, long night. But at the end of the day, Coach Prime's got some medical issues that we need to recognize and say some prayers for the man. I'm very concerned about it. And when you've got these medical issues, it makes you wonder how long a person can grind it out. I know there had been some rumors about whether he would stay with the team, whether he would continue coaching. I think the only thing that would keep Coach Prime from coaching is the medical issues. If it becomes to a point where he can't do it anymore. But I don't want to see it come to that, but I just want to recognize that, okay? This is more than just talking football when you see a coach of the team having some serious issues, and he's expressing that to folks in the press conference. And I believe when they're going, the fact that they've had a very tough season already, emotionally and mentally, that can grind on you. It can grind on you. It will grind on you, on top of the fact that you've got these medical issues as well. So put Coach Prime in your prayers, everybody. I really appreciate you. I hope they give him some good news that they can, do something to help his situation. And I hope the team can bounce back and get better and learn from this game. Once again, Salter is going to have to really have a come-to-Jesus moment about his accuracy and the way he throws the ball, decision-making. We cannot afford 3 turnovers. Overall, they put up 4 turnovers. You just can't do that. Let me throw this up before I leave, right? Once again, Hayden had 9 carries for 61 yards. And you see their quarterback, Barnes, running back for TCU, he had 48 yards rushing. So we pretty much kept their running game. We neutralized it. Their top receiver, McGothter, their receiver had 65 yards. McAllister is his name. He had 65 yards, but once again, Amarion Miller, our guy, had 89 yards receiving. And Wade, let's shout out for defensive end Wade. He had 1 sack. I know his brother is I think his brother's a linebacker, or did they convert him? No, his brother is a quarterback. Remember, they came over from Kentucky. He's got a twin brother. I think his brother's a quarterback. And he was a linebacker coming out of Kentucky, but looked like they converted him to defensive end here. And then we got Brother Brown, linebacker Brown, who had 7 tackles in the game. And everybody get some sleep, get some rest, just like I'm about to get some rest. I appreciate you all. Share the video on all your social media. And if you have not gone over to Facebook, if you got a Facebook account, go over to Facebook and follow Prime Sports Media on Facebook. We got 86,000 people over there watching the content that I put over there, plus the memes that I put over there and video clips that I put over there, and lots of memes that I'll be putting over there week to week. Go follow the Prime Sports Media Facebook page. Appreciate you all. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Peace. They got to turn it around. They got to turn it around, everybody. They've got to turn it around and be more consistent. And the turnovers, they got to minimize it as much as possible. Y'all take care. Peace. God bless you. Thank you. Peace. I want to say peace to Peggy Roster, M, Kim, Bling, and Bar. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everybody that's in the house. Thank you, everybody that came over. Thank you again. Peace.
Listening to Prime Sports Media. Thank you for the support tonight. Share the video on all your social media. Thank you.